Hi everyone. This recording will provide a brief overview and some just-in-time tips for Assignment 3, the creation of performance objectives and assessments. So I'm looking at the syllabus here on the screen, and it says for this assignment you will determine instructional objectives for the skills and knowledge you identified in the analysis, that was Assignment 2, and create assessment to measure those objectives. So you're going to take now Assignment 2 to the next level. If you take a look at the example I gave you on the screen that you're looking at now is the assignment 3 example that is on the Moodle page. You'll notice that the skills that are listed here are what you filled out in assignment 1. I'm looking at the QuickBooks example that I created a few years ago, and you can see that these skills that I have typed in here correspond with the A2 example that we have, or that you saw before. So you've already done assignment 2, and so you have these skills here. So for instance, skill 1 point, or step 1.1, choose client from drop-down menu, or 1.2, verify bill to address. Now, what you'll see in A3 example, here's 1.1, choose client from drop-down menu, the same thing you saw on the green boxes before. 1.2, verify bill to. What you need to do from there, well, you'll put those skills in. You need to write the performance objectives. What do you want the learner to be able to do? Now, I'm stating a lot of mine just looking back at this as given. As a high school teacher, I might change that nowadays. Sort of, we've changed the mentality a little bit, or students will type statement. But it's a performance objective. You can use the given. It's just fine. So for 1.1, choose client from drop-down list. The objective is I want the learner to be able to select the right client from a list. That's the objective. So you have to think about what ultimately you want them to do. And then the assessment, you're going to have to think of a way to assess each one of the skills that you identified. So for the 1.1 example, I want them to be able to locate the client drop-down box and select the proper client. That's what I'm ultimately doing. So for the first part of this, you'll be deciding you'll be taking your skills. Let me backtrack. Taking the skills, you'll write the objective for each one. What's the goal? And then how will you assess them? What's the ultimate outcome that you'll assess? Now, so you'll see that that's going through 1.1, 2, 3, 4. Those are the 4 main steps that I had. So if you look at this was the example 2, A2 example in Moodle. So I had here's all the 2s that I just scrolled through. So each one of these, 2.1, that's the skill. I had the objective that I wanted the learner to do, and then I stated what the assessment would be. So that's what you just saw. There's 3 and 4. So the first part of that is to identify those performance objectives in the assessment. Then the second part is to take those same aspects. For instance, let's go back to 1.1. Choose client from drop-down menu. It says the same thing from before. The performance objective is there listed, but now I want you to create the test item. And so, since this is a self-instructed lesson, I would say make them have some sort of multiple choice, or you have to have some sort of way to assess. In my situation, a multiple choice test to demonstrate the knowledge was appropriate, but it may not be for you. I think for most of your examples, though, I think a multiple choice ABCD type test question would be fine. And so this is the actual test item that would be on my assessment, testing this skill. So if you compare that back, here's 1.1. We'll go back up. Sorry, I know it's even faster. I don't know how it's looking on your screen. Let's see. It's 1.11. 1.1, choose from the drop-down menu. Given a list of several clients, choose the appropriate one to be billed. And I want my assessment item to be able to locate the client drop-down box. So that question ideally should be similar to this. So Becky is the client to be billed for the invoice. Which option would be appropriate in selecting Becky's billing information? And the correct answer there would be B. So you'll do that for every skill that you have identified in this. And so you can see as you scroll through the example, it's um, there's just questions that I typed up. You're probably not going to find these ready-made done. You're going to have to create them on your own. But they're there. So that's sort of the game plan here. And then you'll put the final assessment together. And this would be the test that you would give at the end of the instruction. So those are the same questions that you saw. This would be the test that you would print out for the learner. So, um, and then this is just going back to the learner context analysis. If you want to throw that in there, might be a good idea to keep in there just so I have an easy reference, so I know what you were doing. Now, you may find that some of the steps you may revise them a little bit. I think that's okay. We're still like in the design phase, so it's not that big of a deal, I don't think. But your question should be matching up pretty closely to what what you already have it created in assignment 2. Also, one last thing, take a look at the rubric for assignment 3. It's at the end of the syllabus. I know there's a lot of scrolling on your screen, and I'm sorry for that. But you can see that I'm grading you on the creation of the performance objectives. Is the behavior measurable? Are the objectives congruent with the analysis? Are you describing how the learner will demonstrate the behavior? And you mentioned prerequisite skills. There's 50 points there. And then the assessment side, this is the questions that you make, the tests that you make. Are the questions congruent with the objectives? Are they appropriate for the learner? And is it clear? So those are the things that I'm looking for there. Now this assignment is due soon, so make sure that you are up to date with the syllabus and been following everything in Moodle. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to email me, call me, and I'll do the best I can to clarify it for you. So good luck with this one, and I'll talk to you soon.